Divorce rates are dropping in Kentucky. I wonder why. Let's take a look at the reason. Here we go.
Divorce rates are dropping in Kentucky. I went there to figure out why. In 2018, Kentucky became the first state to make 50-50 shared custody the default. That means that children split their time equally between both parents, and fathers pay less in child support the more time that they spend with their children. Before that, judges decided custody based on what they called the best interest of the child. Fathers said that usually relegated them to an every other weekend arrangement, the so-called Disneyland dad effect, while mothers got to spend most of the time with their children. Since the law passed, divorce rates have dropped. Between 2016 and 2023, divorces in the state fell 25%, compared to 18% nationwide. It's hailed as a victory for fathers' rights, but the story is more complicated. Some critics of the law say that people are staying in abusive marriages because they're afraid of leaving their children alone with a parent with a history of violence. One mom told me that her husband nearly killed her in 2023. She filed criminal charges and he was arrested. But less than 2 weeks after he got out of jail, a judge awarded him 50% custody of their son, indicating that the abuse wasn't a factor since he didn't lay hands on the child. The law has become a model for other states. Arkansas, West Virginia,
Let's stop right there for a second. Do I agree that that a man should abuse, put his hands on his wife? No, but sometimes women they do, but they don't. They never tell the full story. So maybe she goaded them into it, right? You know, how women. You know, sometimes like you see it on Instagram and so on and so forth, like parodies, where the women are just all in a man's face and just taunting him and goading him into trying to hit. As a matter, women actually want you to hit them. Sometimes there's some women out there like that, just so they can have it recorded and just so they can send your ass to prison, and then the whole shit cascades, right? But that has nothing to do with the child. And the judge is like, oh, look, if both of you guys can't get along, that has nothing to do with the child. As long as he didn't put his hands on the child, the relationship between you and the man, that's it might be all messed up, but the relationship between he and his son or he and his daughter, it could be perfectly beautiful. The divorce lawyer actually he said it correctly. He said there is no that just because we don't have a relationship doesn't mean that me and my child don't have a relationship. I don't like you. That doesn't mean I don't love my child, right? But a lot of women like they like to y'all know. I don't need to explain this, right? As soon as they file for divorce, it's just an automatic 20% of your income goes to her for the next 18 to 21 years. Period. But Kentucky is putting an end to all that bullshit.
Florida, and Missouri have passed their own versions of the equal custody presumption. Around 20 other states are considering it. Divorce rates are dropping in Kentucky.
Did you know that equal shared parenting laws decrease divorce rates? Well, it's true, and Kentucky proved it. In 2018, Kentucky passed a 50-50 equal shared parenting law. And since then, divorce rates have slowly declined. 25% declined to be exact. Now, I know what some of these crazy toxic women are out here going to say, well, that's because women are locked in their marriages. No, that's because instead of walking away and thinking that they can weaponize the family courts to take the kids and get a shit ton of money, women realize that that's no longer possible in the state of Kentucky. So they're staying. They're working on their marriage. They're going to marriage counseling, and they're making it work in the best interest of their families.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Now the women are saying they feel trapped in their marriage because they don't get to take the money, the dude's money with them. How amazing is that? All of a sudden, divorce rate just drops by 25%. Why? Because now the women have, it's called incentive. Now the women have no incentive to leave. None whatsoever. And then on top of that, if the man has a prenup, oh, she's royally fucked then. This is just such a beautiful law. I'm so encouraged by this. Four states have enacted this. I think it's Kentucky, West Virginia, Alabama, and Mississippi. And 20 more are strongly considering it. Absolutely, especially when all the divorce statistics favor the men. The kids are better off with the men than the women. I don't know why the women, I don't know why all the judges automatically gave the women custody of the children. I don't know why. when all the numbers say otherwise. But I find it funny that the women feel oppressed to stay in a marriage because they can't leave with the dude's money. So what does that tell you about the women? They were only in it for the money and they're going to leave because of the money. That's how that works.
But the divorce system, where there's no fault and where there's no 50-50, it's easy for a woman to walk away because she knows she's going to get the lion's share of the assets. She's probably going to get majority custody and she's probably going to get child support. So what's keeping her there? If it's not the perfect situation and it's not Prince Charming like in the movies, she doesn't want to stay. Toxic women will choose their happiness over their family. Men every day will choose their family over their own happiness. And that's the big difference. But when you take away the options of that financial gain of child support and the guarantee of custody, women are choosing to stay. 50-50 equal share parenting laws are not only in the best interest of children, I guess they're also in the best interest of marriages and the nuclear family.
Absolutely.
What if, when you file for divorce, you knew that your spouse would get 50-50 custody? Would that affect your decision? Kentucky has a law where 50-50 is the default. Now, obviously, there are exceptions if there's, domestic violence or whatever, but the default is 50-50. So not like Detroit where the default is every other weekend. If you knew your ex was going to get the kids 50% of the time right off, would that affect your decision to file for divorce? Why or why not?
Somebody like Tyrese would absolutely benefit from this law. Can you imagine if it was 50-50 default in California? Or is it? No, he's in Atlanta, actually. He's in Georgia, yeah. All that child support is called bye-bye. No, no more. Just call bye-bye. Why doesn't a woman all of a sudden need $20,000 for a child when she never even spent $2,000 a month when she was with Tyrese? Why does she all of a sudden need $20,000 a month? This law is long coming. Like, it's such a great law. I'm so impressed.
I'll bet you didn't know that if you make custody hearings and divorce proceedings 50-50 to start, you actually reduce divorce by 25%. At least that's the example we have from Kentucky. Now, of course, the Wall Street Journal tried to paint this in a bad light. They said a law setting 50-50 shared custody as state standard is hailed as a victory for fathers, but critics say it puts mothers and children at risk. 50-50 custody to start the proceedings puts children at risk? That is such a fucking weird statement to make. Because this doesn't change anything. Like if someone's abusive, or someone's a bad parent, or somebody's on drugs. No, this just means that when you start your divorce proceeding, we start from an assumed position of where the parents are equal. Where their custody of the child is equal. How the fuck does that put mothers and children at risk? It doesn't. All this said was that both parents are equal. Ladies, this is equality. This is what it's like when both men and women are viewed on an equal plane. And just to be very clear, seeing the parents as equal is what it should be.
Exactly. This is what equality is, ladies. I find it funny how women want equality except when it's time to be equal. Right? Except when it doesn't benefit them. Then they say, nah, I don't want that equality stuff anymore. Let's go back to the traditional way. I don't even understand these women, like 50-50 custody. I don't even understand these women. Like, you want to be a hoe anyway, and that's why you file for divorce. Okay, go. Now you have more time to be a hoe. You got more time. What's the problem? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this new law. I'm so encouraged. I hope 20 states enact this law. And I hope that this shit is federalized. Like, this is a long time coming. Like, as too many men have been railroaded by this. This is completely ridiculous. But of course, the blue states, I seriously doubt that they're gonna enact this law. At least they're gonna. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that the red states are gonna enact this law and the blue states are not. You can bet your bottom dollar because West Virginia is red, Kentucky is red, Alabama is red, Mississippi is red. It's either red or purple. It's one of them. So we shall see. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Good law or bad law? Peace. Peace.